Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Kathleen, and in this video I'm joining in on a book tour for The Last Roman, Exile by B.K. Greenwood. I was invited to this tour by Eric from Breakeven Books, so thank you again to Eric. We've collaborated on a few things now, and it's always such a fun time. And so of course I will leave the link to his channel and his Instagram down below, so you can find more information on the tour. I will also leave links for where you can order the book from Amazon or from BK Greenwood's website down below as well as all of the links for all of the other people who are participating on this little book tour. But jumping right in, first I'm going to read you the author bio and the synopsis for the book before I jump into my thoughts on the book. So this is B.K. Greenwood's debut novel. He lives in Austin, Texas with his wife and a wolf pack of 4 rescue dogs. We love rescue dogs. He loves to travel and has incorporated his experiences into his writing. B.K. enjoys works of fiction and nonfiction with a heavy emphasis on history, adventure, and classics. His passion for history is on display in his debut novel, The Last Roman, Exile. And the synopsis for this book, The Last Roman, is: some debts you cannot repay, even if you live forever. Seasoned imperial officer Marcus Sempronius Gracchus, I hope I pronounced that correctly, leads the 9th Roman Legion into a bloody battle against a fierce barbarian tribe. It's a battle he won't survive. When he awakens 3 days later, clawing his way from a shallow grave, Marcus must face the reality of his new existence. He will never see the afterlife, but that won't stop him from dying time and again over the next 2,000 years. But Marcus is not the only one cursed with eternal life, and they are determined to bring the world crashing to its knees. Forced to confront the only brother he has ever known, can Marcus prevent the inevitable and find redemption? Follow the story of a man who should be dead as he tries to save the world and his soul. Part Highlander, part Jason Bourne, The Last Roman is the fast-paced historical fiction and modern thriller you deserve. Don't miss the first book in an exciting new trilogy, which I believe the second book is actually now available. So Eric over at Breakeven Books was kind enough to send me a free digital copy of this book so I could read it and give my review for this book tour. And I will say it starts off with a bang. Intense opening first chapters. It was surprising right away. It definitely had an interesting premise. The way in which our main character has become immortal, as it says in the synopsis, is quite interesting. But I will say, for the book, some of the reveals for the explanations felt a little late in the book for me. Early on in the book, I started to wonder why I should care about what was going on, because I wasn't sure what our main character's goal exactly was, because I also was not sure what our villain's goal was. It was cool that the book does kind of take place all over history. It really follows our main character in a lot of different time eras, which was interesting, but it also at some points made the book feel a little bit all over the place. And some of the scenes that took place kind of between the beginning in the far past and the present day storyline, I wasn't really sure what they added to the story sometimes, other than just showing our main character has been alive all this time and has been doing things all throughout history. And sometimes this very stretched out timeline meant that I felt like we didn't get enough depth in either the storylines or the characters. But once the villain's plan was laid out, it was a really interesting villain plan with interesting motivations, and it left a really good setup for the sequel. So all in all, an exciting opening that dragged a little bit in the middle while we were left wondering what the motivations and the goals were. But then the motivations and goals did pay off in a big way. And as far as the writing style, I think B.K. Greenwood is very good at writing both battle and action sequences. He puts a lot of tension and high stakes in them. Any of the battle and action sequences were really fun. A lot of the modern day action sequences felt like reading an action movie, kind of. He was also pretty good at writing banter. I really especially enjoyed the banter between our main character and his allies, whereas some of the banter between the main character and the villain felt a little bit cheesy. But I certainly got some good chuckles throughout the book. I will say sometimes the characters' language in the past storylines didn't feel quite right for the historical setting, but I'm not really a history buff, so maybe they were fine, but to me they felt slightly off. At the beginning of the book, I think I really enjoyed the historical storylines better than the modern day storyline, until about halfway through when it kind of switched for me because the historical stuff started to feel a little bit irrelevant and the modern day storyline was where the relevant action was. So kind of throughout the book, a little bit better of a making sure that both storylines were important and exciting would have been nice. But these were kind of alternating chapters, and so I always had either the past storyline to look forward to because that was the part I was enjoying, or the present day storyline to look forward to. And this was something I noticed a lot at the beginning of the book with the exposition, because I feel like a lot of the exposition for the historical storyline was very good and interesting, but then the modern day storyline's exposition felt kind of clunky. Overall, the writing style and the feeling of the book kind of reminded me of the Nicholas Flamel series. This series by Michael Scott, just in the fact that it draws on history for its inspiration and kind of the tone of the writing style. In a way, they felt similar. This is, of course, a children's series, whereas The Last Roman is more of an adult book, and so kind of the tone of the Nicholas Flamel series, but aged up a bit. So yes, overall, I enjoyed this book quite a bit. I would be excited to try the sequel at some point because, as I said, this one ended with a bang, set up really good, interesting storylines for the second book. Definitely a lot more to explore with this series. And so yeah, if that sounds like your kind of book, I would encourage you to follow the links down below to get your own copy. As I said, I believe that the sequel, The Last Roman Abyss, is already available, so you can jump right into that one as well. I hope this review was helpful. Thanks again to Eric for inviting me, and thank you for watching. Remember, words matter.